Hello and welcome back to I Literary Can't Even. I'm your host Kyra and I'm here with Claire.
Hi.
And Paula.
Hey, how you doing?
Woo! We're all back.
Yay.
Okay, so this week we decided a fun topic for us would be to talk about book boyfriends because we know how you all love a good book boyfriend. So we're going to talk about our favourites and what we find appealing in male heroes. So who wants to go first?
If I'm going first, I'm going to end up fangirling over your books, you are aware.
I'm okay with that.
Yay!
Oh, that's cool.
You could, yeah, go fire.
Then I will go first.
Fire it off.
Yeah, I have two though, because I love Jace from Everybody Knows,
Aww.
and also Bryce from the Game On series.
I know you love a Bryce. So tell me what you love about Bryce.
Your dude. It's his like strength and the way he's always there for everyone. He's everyone's rock.
Yeah.
Really, it's like he doesn't know Leah, but he's there for her and helping her with Radley. Obviously, he's Radley's best friend, and like in a way, he's almost like Radley's conscience.
He kind of is, yeah. He's like the angel on his shoulder.
Yeah. And then even the characters you wouldn't say he's especially close to, like Bray or Freya and stuff, he's there for them as well. And I think it's just that like strength that's really appealing, and not just obviously it's mirrored in his physical strength because he's described as like a big beefy guy.
Mm-hmm.
I also find it like really sad how like it took him so long to like get happiness with a woman, and like his marriage broke down and then his dating didn't work.
I think one of my regrets, and I may rectify this at some point, is not giving him a book. Mm-hmm. And I also I do find it quite hard to write from a male perspective, but I am working on that and it is getting easier. But I wasn't sure what to do with him as well, because he's got more of a story than everyone, because like you said, his marriage broke down, he's got kids, his wife's drinking herself to death. And so it's just, there was a lot going on. But I would consider doing something about that. I would consider writing a book on him.
How do you go ahead and write from the male perspective? How do you find inspiration to do that?
I don't even know how it happens.
It's
a bit like writing
weird,
any character.
Isn't it?
It's like, in a way, it's like writing any other character. It's just that you hear the voices and you just go with it.
Yeah. But sometimes you need someone else there just to go, well, actually, this is a bit wrong.
When I was writing Reasonable Doubts, one of my beta readers said that some of the stuff... Shit, what's his name? Finn. Can't remember my character's name. Some of the stuff that Finn was saying...
Yeah, I could only think of Darcy.
Yeah, it was like Darcy. Some of the things Finn was thinking came out as a bit, like, female sounding. So I had to rework that. But obviously I am a girl, so, you know, it's easily done to just slip back into...
Who pointed that out, male or female?
Sarah, it was girl.
Oh, right, that's really interesting, because, like, Ad reads mine and, like, edits it and stuff, so obviously that helps having his male perspective.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that, like, other women can notice it as well.
I don't have any male...
So I don't think I would be,
I don't have male beta readers. Maybe I should enlist Ad for mine as well.
Yeah.
How do you go about doing yours, then? Is it the same kind of thing, with you just hear the voice and go with it?
Yeah, pretty much. It's just the voice of the character. Obviously, like, I have to be aware of doing girly things or whatever. But yeah, it is just hearing the voice.
Yeah. Paula, how about you? Who are your book boyfriends?
Well, you're going to laugh when I tell you, but of course, Mark Darcy from Bridget Jones' Diary. Oh my gosh. I fell in love with him. It was so funny when I did watch them. I read the books first. Yeah. And I the irony of all irony is I did definitely relate to him from Pride and Prejudice. I really saw where Helen Fielding was going with that character. And I think where I fell in love with him completely is that you remember the speech where he gives her, he's like, I love you just as you are, Bridget. And I'm just
yeah, it's
I just
cute.
Literally lost it. I'm like, you know what? Just his dry, sardonic way. There was something so appealing about him. He really was. There was no, pomp and circumstance to him. He was a very I guess, just a natural person. It wasn't like he was trying to be something that he wasn't.
Yeah.
And there was a very genuineness in him that I just fell in love with. And of course, I love Colin Firth when he portrayed him in the movie. But there was just something very, he was a human rights barrister, and
of course, I forgot about that part.
I just love him. Well, he was dreamy. There's no question about it. And and honestly, before I ever read that book, I wasn't a huge fan of lawyers, to be honest with you. And that obviously
on lawyers.
Yeah, I kind of did.
That's too funny. Also,
Yeah,
the thing with Mark Darcy, like you said, it's the fact that he's a little bit awkward, but it's in a charming way. It's done in it's very because he's very not pretentious, but he's quite posh. He's from a good background, and he's very clever. And so you don't think of this person as being a romantic necessarily. He's an intellectual, but he's also very sweet. Yeah. Like Paula said, there's nothing false about him. And that's what I really liked about him.
Right.
But I must say that I was Team Daniel. When I first watched the movie, I was much younger. Daniel Cleaver is just like, oh yeah, I want the guy who talks about the big underwear and says the dirty stuff. I want that guy. But then,
you can't help it. Daniel is awesome. But there was, as you get older, you're right. You see something very genuine in Mark.
Definitely.
I think that's true, not just of Bridget Jones, but I think of all, men as you get older. Mm-hmm. When you're younger, you want the bad boys who are, almost a bit of a challenge.
Yeah.
But then as you get older, you kind of worldview changes in your priority.
Definitely.
And you want less of, the hard work, in a way.
This is a slight...
It's kind of like you want to have the bad boy to have fun with, and then you want to marry the Mark Darcy.
Yeah.
This is a slight deviation in terms of book boyfriends, but I really like the comedian Owen Benjamin, and he always says that it doesn't matter what a woman tells you about how she wants a nice guy, she will ultimately always want the guy who's got fire in him because she feels safe with that guy. She doesn't want a guy who is out there pretending that he's all about women's rights, because they're probably lying and they're probably just trying to get in a woman's knickers. But ultimately, what a woman really wants is someone who is going to look after her, who is going to be able to fight off the bad guys. And I think he's right.
Definitely true. It's kind of like the men that would kill someone for you, but they wouldn't lay a hand on you kind of people.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely.
But just to say that a woman wants...
Because there are some bad boys that are arseholes.
Oh, sure.
Well, the bad boys that are, you know what, maybe bad boys is the wrong word. The ones that basically would kill to defend you.
Yeah.
That's the kind of... And then have a heart of gold, too.
Yeah.
They're
and that's
the ones that look fierce, but they're really a teddy bear. I like those types.
Those are the guys you'll find in Kurjuki books a lot. You'll find a guy who is, or may have used to have been an asshole, but settles down for the right person. But they have,
reformed assholes.
Reformed assholes. They would, they would kill someone for the woman that they love, but they would never hurt that woman. I think, Blake. I think it's Blake in the Empathy series. I love that dude. I think he's one of my favourite of her characters.
Yeah.
Also, I'm so bad with names. From Devil, what's his name? The guy from Devil. But
is it Ryan, or is that a different
book? Ryan's the evil one from Empathy. The psychopath. That is Ryan. You'll never read a better psychopath, I think, than Ryan in Empathy. He is ridiculous. Cool. I mean, he is pure, just messed up. But that's the other thing, and I know Kyra was saying that when we interviewed her. Women are crazy about him. They love that dude who would do these deeply fucked up things, and not just to people, not just to your enemies, but kinky in a very disturbing way.
See, there's a level for me. There's kinky and a bit weird and stuff, but then there's I don't want someone who might be coming into my room and cutting me up or something.
Right.
It's the new It movie.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I just saw it. Yep.
Everyone is obsessed with the guy that plays It, and it's he's okay looking in real life, but I can't understand why people are fangirling over him as fucking Pennywise. He's an evil clown.
That's messed up.
And apparently there's this, like, confessions blog where people want to have sex with Pennywise and then have him eat them and stuff. And it's like, what?
Well, that's bizarre on many levels.
No.
Yeah.
I've not seen the new version, but that's people are into weird shit though.
Obviously, well, we have proof of it. No, I think what's interesting is the ones. I always have this thing, which the silent, as they say, still waters run deep.
Sure.
Yeah.
I have this theory that the ones that are passionate are usually the ones that you don't expect. The ones that, you know, in these stories that you read, it always is the case. Because they're always the quiet ones. I mean, look at Mark Darcy. Look at when he kisses Bridget. She's like, nice boys don't kiss like you do.
Oh, that's such a great line.
It's more satisfying in a way, like finding what lights a fire under these quiet people.
Yeah, definitely.
That's right. That's absolutely right. I guess it's kind of funny to see that because I like to discover that trait. So.
That topic
is usually true, by the way.
That topic kind of leads me on to my book boyfriend because I've been through a few book boyfriends, but Nick Dacre from Lisa J. Hobman's The Worst of Me is the best. First of all, he's in a band, so, you know, right away, hotness points through the roof. But aside from that, though, he's, like, the story starts when he's just realising that, hey, this rock and roll kind of sleeping with women is not working for me anymore and I need to sort myself out. And right away that's kind of appealing because you know he's done all the bad stuff and he's ready to find something that's real. He wasn't looking for it necessarily when he found it, but it was just that fact of, okay, well, you know he's grown up, but he's very, very kind. The female lead in that story, and Lisa knows how I feel about her, and he's very patient with her because she's quite she's very protective of the things she loves, and it made her extremely defensive, and so he was very patient to put up with some of the stuff that she said. The book, though, overall is just fantastic, and when you read into it and you find out why Kat is the way she is, it kind of does make more sense. But for me, I just felt like he was just very, very kind and very patient with her, and I really liked that about him. And he's a singer, so, you know, right away, he's perfect. Any guy who can sing is pretty much onto a winner with me. I
thought you were going to say, like, I thought drummers would be the one for you in bands.
Well, I do. Frank. I do love a drummer. It's the singing is a good thing. I like a man who can sing. It's always lovely. But, Nick Dacre, though, is he's perfection. He's book perfection, in my opinion. And Paula, have you got round to reading that yet, or have you not done it?
No, I haven't. That's one is on my list.
Yeah,
I've been trying to get through all of them.
It's got to be done. So. It's got to be done.
Yes, definitely. No, I loved her. The two books I read were amazing, and she has a beautiful way of writing the heroes. And she has the original one, Jason. Oh my God! I was absolutely ready to move to Scotland because he was just like, he was tattooed. And usually I don't go for guys that are tattooed, but the way she wrote him. Do you really? Yeah. You know, I don't mind tattoos that much, but I mean, it wasn't like something I would normally go for, but the way she described him, it was just like, I had this picture of a god, a Greek god. He just seems so amazing.
I'm the same. I'm with Paula on this, because I never really was into tattoos before either, but now I'm broken. Beards and tattoos. I'm all about the beards and the tattoos, and I never used to like either of those things.
Beards. Beards, definitely. Definitely beards. Tattoos?
Why?
No, more.
Why is everyone hating on man buns as well? I like man buns.
I don't like man buns. I don't like them.
I like them.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah, man buns are not my thing either. Honestly, there's only one man who could wear long hair in my life that I used to see, and that was Barry Gibb, to die for. Barry Gibb. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
That was my crush when I was like 10 years old. I just thought he was gorgeous.
Was he your first crush then?
Yeah, I think he was. He was probably my first one that I was just like, and Andy Gibb, his brother, the other one, I was just like, these guys could sing, and I I just remember being mesmerized by him.
Kyra,
So,
who
yes.
was your first crush?
Patrick Swayze.
Oh,
Well, that's a good
Dirty
one. Yeah.
Dancing.
I watched
See, I
Dirty
don't
Dancing
wanna
when I was
admit
like,
my
I was
best,
5
so-
years old the first time I watched, 5 or 6 when I watched Dirty Dancing
Yeah.
the first time, and that he is the sole reason my expectations in men are so high. Yep, beautiful. How about you?
See, mine's going to sound really lame in comparison, but it was Link from Legend of Zelda.
No, that's not late. No, I can see that.
God, I
One
love
little
you.
sticker of him that I carried round everywhere with me.
You're the best.
That's cool. Nothing wrong with that.
That's amazing.
My husband would love you.
Yeah, no, I didn't see that coming.
No, I could see you, Patrick Swayze. Oh my gosh, we were just teasing someone, a friend of mine, recently about he hates Dirty Dancing. He hates this movie, and I'm just like, okay, well, I'm going to start sending you like photo stills of Patrick Swayze. I said, I think the real reason is not that you hate Dirty Dancing. You just are jealous of Patrick Swayze.
Who wouldn't be, though?
I said, let's get to the heart of the matter. And he's like, okay, I'll admit it. I am. I said, okay, that's what I just needed you to admit. I love Patrick Swayze myself. I think he was beautiful. He really was. To watch him, to dance like he did, he was poetry in motion. That movie, I can watch that anytime it's on TV. I will watch till the end. I
Yep,
love
I'm
it.
the same.
I own the anniversary edition because I love it so much.
Same thing.
It's awesome. Oh yes.
Did you watch the new version?
I was just about to say,
Yes.
what did you think of the remake?
It is.
I didn't like it.
It was horrific. I tweeted the whole way through watching it, and I got like 500 retweets on one of my tweets. It's the most retweets I've ever had on anything in my life, but it was fucking dreadful.
She was dreadful. I mean, you know what? I'm a purist when it comes to some of these remakes, and now I get what people, some of the remakes that we would see that people would say, oh my God, it was so much better the original, and I'd be like, oh, whatever. Well, now I get it, because I'm a purist when it came to Dirty Dancing.
I just think...
And they remade this with that... No.
There are some things you
I
just
didn't like
shouldn't
it.
touch, and that is one of the things you should never mess with.
No, it's kind of like, I hate to say it, if they tried to remake Saturday Night Fever. Oh my God, no. You can't.
I just
John
don't...
Travolta was...
Yeah.
No.
Just no.
No.
Yeah, like Grease,
No.
things like that.
I
Just don't
think
do it.
sometimes it's the actors really make the role.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think
it was
that's
iconic.
true. But also, I
Absolutely.
just feel like there is no need to remake it perfection.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
agree. I mean, the music, everything. Why would you want to remake something?
They've done like
God.
TV, like live movies. They did Grease and they did Hairspray. I don't mind watching those because they're more of a kind of tribute almost. They're okay.
Or better yet, are we that pathetic we can't come up with other ideas?
That's my
Come on.
Well, some
concern.
people say like all original ideas are dead now.
Well, then
that
somebody needs to
concerns
get the
me.
original idea.
Yeah.
Come on.
Because, and I
That
feel,
was...
to bring it back to books, I mean, it is difficult, especially if you write romance, because romance is like a girl meets a guy and then they get together. That is
Yeah.
literally the process of a romance
And
book,
there's
and there are
obstacles.
millions and millions and millions of romance books. But people still read them because...
Yeah.
And, I mean, a lot of them must be similar. There must be millions of books that follow
Yeah.
the same storyline. It's always a challenge to
Yeah,
be...
you're right.
It's the characters and the way you tell it.
Yeah, makes a big difference for sure, and that's why there are so many
Yeah.
of a similar storyline with different characters, because it is definitely, like you said, the way the story's told. I think I was talking to you earlier about it. I've read a lot of books recently that have had to do with the female lead was abused, and one of the books that I started to write had that situation, and it made me go, oh, should I really be writing this then if there are so many out there?
Yeah.
But at the same time, my
tricky,
storyline
yeah.
is very different to theirs, so I think I can make it work. But it does make you think, and like rockstar romances, there are hundreds, thousands of rockstar romances, but it doesn't mean you stop writing them. You just have to find a way of making it different.
Your own and making it original.
Yeah.
But you know what? That you just made a really interesting point about Dirty Dancing, and you said how people, when they say original ideas are dead. Well, with all the romances out there, you can't tell me they can't adapt something else that's interesting rather than remaking something that's so good. Well, they're coming out with a lot of what I'm seeing, a lot of true stories. I went to see out of the weekend. A couple of weeks ago, I went to see 3 straight movies, and 2 out of the 3 were true stories. So it's kind of nice to see with my generation, 2 stories that were going on when I was, when I was very young. One was about Watergate, and one was about Battle of the Sexes, the tennis match. So it's kind of, it's good is, bringing some true stories in and telling them to another generation, and even the generation that lived it, to see some of the behind-the-scenes stuff.
Yeah,
so I think, that's not a bad thing.
I don't mind stuff like that,
more of.
Especially if it's, I think it's important to make sure it is factually correct, because there are a lot of movies that have been based on a true story, but then not been entirely factually correct in the end. There's some stuff, I think, in Titanic that wasn't factually correct, and I think that annoyed some people. I can't speak for sure on what those things were. I think it may have been to do with the way the boat kind of broke apart. I think it was not done the same way as it was in the movie or something like that, which is a problem for history buffs.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest with you, I'm probably the only one who sat and watched that movie and said, Jesus, it's safe, get over it already. Enough. I couldn't stand that movie. I just couldn't.
Everybody loved it as much as everyone else did.
I know. I didn't either. Listen, I love Kate Winslet and I love Leo DiCaprio, and, I love them in it, but it just, to me, that whole romance part of it, and I love romances. Somehow it just not, maybe I was expecting too much, because everyone who saw it is, oh my God, you got to see it, you got to see it. By the time I saw it, it was later in the game, and when I watched it, it just did not have the same, it didn't affect me the same way.
Yeah, that's how I felt when I saw it.
I'm glad someone else said it, because I feel like I should, hand over my woman card to say that I didn't like the Titanic, because everybody's like, what? You didn't like it? I'm like, no, I really didn't. The best part of it was the music of Celine Dion. The rest,
that was the worst.
I like the song.
I like Celine Dion.
Me too. I like her as well.
I like her as a human, but her voice does nothing for me. So, I feel the same way about Adele. I understand she's very talented,
I love it.
But I just don't.
I can't. I
can't. I love her as a person. I think she's amazing, but I just don't like her music. It depresses me.
No, I don't.
Interesting. Well, that's why everybody has different tastes, no question. But what I was going to say is, what the hardest thing is whenever you read or watch something, either on TV or in the movies, and you have a history buff for a husband who teaches history, actually, it sucks. Just don't do it. Don't ever go to a movie with someone who's a history person, because they ruin the movie. They sit there and they tell you, that's wrong, that's wrong. It's a perfectly enjoyable movie until they start critiquing it. Especially, I'll give you the perfect example. I went to see Troy with Brad Pitt. All I wanted to see is Brad Pitt. And I was enjoying it, let me tell you. And then I get out of the movie in my little bliss of Brad Pitt, and all I heard from my husband, who was my boyfriend at the time, this is wrong, they got this wrong, and I'm like, what? I'm like, I was in bliss. He's critiquing it.
Yeah.
I said, wait a minute.
Don't see it for the history.
And I told him, I said, oh, it wasn't historical? I cared. At this point. I said, well, I don't think that was quite the point.
Yeah.
Maybe. I said, and he's like, oh, and he just kind of looked at me, and it's very frustrating, because, so whoever's doing movies, make sure it's historical, or you get these history freaks all over you. Trust me.
I imagine that experience is like going to see a Harry Potter movie with me, and I sit there mumbling, going, "Fuck off! That's wrong. That's wrong. What have they done?"
Yeah.
I suppose I'm the same way. When we went to see the Battle of Sexes movie, I know all about the tennis match. Yeah. And I had plenty of comments too.
See,
so
you can't help it.
When
you know the truth, it's very hard to just say nothing, I think.
Yeah. That's probably true. So I was actually
talking about something similar to this today. I was saying about the trailer for the Black Panther movie.
Uh-huh.
And how it looks so awesome. But I don't know anything about Black Panther from the comics.
Right.
So I imagine I will go into the film and I won't be picking fault with it. Whereas some people who are really into the comics might do. Whereas something like X-Men, say, I would pick fault with, because I'm familiar with the history. I think sometimes that really helps you to enjoy an adaptation or something if you're not overly familiar with the source.
Yeah.
And you're not going, well, this is wrong, this is wrong.
That's what I find with superhero movies and stuff, because I don't really know the origins particularly. I'm just watching it as a movie. It's fine.
You're probably right. I know. I like to go to a movie sometimes and just watch the movie. And honestly,
just enjoy it for the entertainment. And
it's And to be honest with you, there are many movies that are not adapted from books. Those are probably the best because then you don't know what they got wrong or got right or whatever. You can just sit and enjoy it and just. But yeah, it's hard, I would say. And then that's the thing with like book boyfriends when you're talking about that. You really want, after reading a book and then seeing it adapted to the screen.
Yeah, that is difficult, and they just don't live up to your image.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's frustrating, because it's like how I envision Mark Darcy. They got even better than in my mind. But in some cases, I'm like, what? That's not how I pictured it.
Yeah.
Do you think watching or reading different authors' books, do they help you write your male characters differently or better?
I think it helps. I think seeing how someone does it and seeing what works and what doesn't work. I think with every aspect of writing, not just writing male characters, but everything, you have
I would
to
agree.
See what others do.
I agree with the every aspect thing. I think that is true because this week I've been editing a book by an incredible author called Melinda Price, and I cannot speak highly enough of her. I don't know what it is she does. Some people, it's a bit like Kurjuki, you don't understand how she's done what she's done, but you want to read more of it. So I've done 2 books by her recently. One was called One and Done, and it's about a woman who was just turning 30, and she was supposed to go on holiday with her best friend, and just as they got on the plane, her best friend found out that her grandmother had died, so she had to get off the plane. So she ended up going on this holiday on her own, and she bumped into this guy who she didn't know was a famous surfer, and the two of them, there was like chemistry between them, and she had her issues to deal with, and he had his issues to deal with. It was just it was sweet, but so it was sweet and sexy, and that's pretty much all you can ask for. But her characters are very relatable.
Oh, yeah.
Even if you've never been through the situation, you feel like you can find something in those characters to relate to, and that to me is the perfect author. The book I just did this week was called In for the Win, and it's I think the 5th in a series, and the series is about MMA fighters. So you would love it, Claire. You would absolutely love it. So I hadn't read the other book, but even though I hadn't read the other books, it was easy to still pick up. Again, the characters were so relatable. I just can't say enough good things about her. She's bloody amazing. If you haven't read her books, then you really are missing out, and you need to just crack on and find them because she's epic. Which brings me on, I guess, to the next thing, because this week we were looking for some people to share, because we haven't done that yet. We said we would, we haven't done it yet. So we're trying to get more people involved in the podcast. We're trying to spread the word about things. So this week we put up a call to see who's got books out, and we wanted to share some of the new releases. So we have 3 new releases to share for you. The first one we have is Claiming Atlas by Jessalyn Jameson, which is the best name ever. And here's the blurb for you. Atlas Reynolds has it made. The bassist for a thriving rock band, complete with a world tour under their belts, Atlas has everything he's ever dreamed of. Who knew getting everything you wanted would become boring? After a chance encounter on a last-minute solo trip to Las Vegas, he finds himself one of a select few men invited to dine in the dark with the hottest playmates of the past decade. Seeking a new diversion, he heads out for a mind-blowing night of debauchery in the city that invented the word. After years in the Vegas spotlight, Kayla Sanders is ready to hang up her sequins and stilettos until she receives an invitation to one last epic gig. Unable to resist the opportunity to let her persona Kincaid Summers go out with a bang, Kayla accepts the invitation, landing her in the lap of Atlas Reynolds, bassist of famous rock band Banging Cade. When one last hurrah turns into a night of unbridled passion, Kay thinks she might just be the one to tame Atlas's wild heart. But when the lights turn on, will Atlas want the real woman behind the facade? That sounds amazing. I want to read that now.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, it's really hot. Hot. If you like hot, you need to check that out. So yes, that is Claiming Atlas by Jessalyn Jameson.
Right, so I have got another romance. This one isn't a really sexy one. It's got kissing and stuff, but it's billed as a clean adult romance.
Okay.
And it's Saved by H.L. Anderson. And This is the blurb. Teresa Kent is a wife, mother and hard-working nurse living in rural Colorado. Life is good until her increasingly despondent, unemployed husband suddenly snaps. His vicious attack leaves Teresa fighting for her life as she tries to escape the insane version of the man she loves. Ryan Tucker appears to have it all, except he's been merely existing, not living. For the last 3 years, his emotions get a much-needed jump start when he rescues Teresa from the torment her life has become in just a matter of days. Ryan feels an instant and fierce desire to protect this stranger that fell into his life. Hanging over their heads is the knowledge that Teresa's husband is still out there, hunting for her. Can two broken souls be repaired, or will the demons of the past and present come between the repressed love that grows between them?
Oh,
that's saved by H.L. Anderson.
There's some great stuff coming out this week. I love it.
Yeah.
I want both of those. Keep going. Right, Paula?
Yes,
what have you got?
Yeah. Okay, and the last one is called Along Came a Spider. It's a young adult contemporary fairy tale reading. It's the Along Came a Spider, the Legends Chronicle source code novelette by K.M. Robinson. Little hacker Muffet sat on her tuffet, destroying her cords and way. Along came a hacker named Spider, who sat down beside her and frightened his opponent away. When Fett, one of the most skilled hackers in the Legends, discovers her best friend and leader of her group has been abducted and held for ransom, she must escape unnoticed and find Peep before it's too late. When Spider, a new recruit, slips out with her and claims to have a plan to save her friend, Fett is forced to bring him along. As she discovers he's not who he claims to be, she faces grave danger and learns just how deadly a spider fight can be. That is Along Came a Spider, the Legends Chronicle source code novelette by K.M. Robinson. That sounds really good.
Yeah, it sounds brilliant.
Yeah, it's great.
K.M. Robinson writes fairy tale retellings. Her main series is Golden, and it's a retelling of Goldilocks and the Three Bears.
Oh,
wow.
And Goldilocks is an assassin hired to kill the three bears, and they're not bears, they're like, I think mafia type people.
Oh wow, that's
and it's
great.
Brilliant.
See, that is the kind of imagination I'm jealous of. I love that.
Yeah, same.
I've always
That's
wanted
awesome.
to tackle I've always wanted to tackle a fairy tale retelling, but I've never really known where to start.
Yeah, same.
And also loads of them have been done already, so you're kind of, that's really original. I really love that.
Yeah, it is. It's so clever.
So
well,
there you
in
go.
the States now they've got 2 different TV shows based on fairy tales, so it's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's always
it's
definitely
very popular.
Yeah. So
Ow.
So those look really good. I got to take a look at those for
yeah,
sure.
me too. And what we'll do is we'll post the links on our Facebook page so you can check them out and you can find them easier.
Yes.
So you don't have to struggle to look for them because we maybe messed up some of the words there, but we'll share them with you. Okay, so this brings us on to our next thing. Well, it doesn't, but we need to segue, so let's do it. Okay, so we've been doing the podcast for a few weeks now, and we are thinking of new ways to reach readers and get people involved, because we're not really just doing this for us. None of it's really ever been about us. It's about talking to readers, connecting with readers and other authors. So in the interests of getting people involved, we had a plan to have a little bit of Christmas fun. And the intention is that we would like to do a kind of podcast advent calendar. So soon we're going to be launching a website, and what we would like to do is get some people to send in some short stories or poetry or even fan art that's book related and Christmas related, so that every day in the lead up to Christmas we can post something new, so you can all have
something new and something fun.
Yeah, something new and fun for you all to read and look at on the lead up to Christmas, because, you know, who doesn't love Christmas? But what we'd like to do is for you guys to either write a poem, a story of up to 5,000 words, or a drawing, or even, you know, some kind of cool computer-made graphic that has to do with books and Christmas. And if you submit it to us, then we will hopefully post it for you on the lead up to Christmas. Did I say that right?
Yeah. Yes, that makes sense.
great.
I felt like I was talking a lot.
And as Kyra said, yeah, I was going to say the full details will be on our Facebook page and on the website once it's up and running.
So yes, we would really love for you to get involved. And also, if you didn't want to write something new and you have a Christmas novella coming out, you're more than welcome to send us a snippet and we can share that for you, and then the link to the book. So hopefully it will garner you some interest and some sales as well. We used to do this on a forum we used to run, and it was always so well received, and it was just very exciting. We always really enjoyed seeing what was going to come the next day.
Just always looking forward to what's new the next day.
So yes, we will have the details up for you and you can join in. And we wanted to announce it now, obviously, because Christmas is coming around extremely quickly and wanted to give you time to be involved. So
okay. So you can find us on iTunes or SoundCloud at I Literally Can't Even. Email us at iliterarycan'teven@yahoo.com, and on Twitter and Facebook.
All right, I guess we're done for this week. Thanks as always for listening, and thank you to Paula and Claire for hosting this with me. Love my girls. We will see you next time. Thanks all, and it's bye from me.
Bye from Claire.
Bye from Paula.
Bye.